3 women, yeah. Good.
Six on the dot. Good evening, everyone. Reporting out from closed session, we have nothing to report. And we'll go forward with calling this regular session of our city council meeting to order at 6 o'clock, March 23rd, 2026. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Amara.
Present.
Dowden Calvillo.
Present.
Holmes. Riddell Harris.
Here.
Mayor Davis.
Here. Mr. Holmes, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And next we will have mayor's accommodations. We have 2 proclamations tonight. Our first one is for Parkinson's Awareness Month. I think I have guess. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Parkinson's.
You brought some friends. Hey. Welcome. All right, this might be a little bit of a tongue twister. All right, proclamation for Parkinson's Awareness Month. Whereas Parkinson's disease is a chronic progressive neurologic disease and both the second most common neurodegenerative disease in the United States and the most rapidly growing globally. And whereas over 10 million people worldwide, over 1 million people in the United States, and well over 100,000 people in California are living with Parkinson's disease. And whereas the symptoms of Parkinson's disease may vary from person to person and can include tremors, rigidity, difficulty with balance, walking, chewing, swallowing, and speaking, as well as cognitive impairment, mood disorders, and a variety of other non-motor symptoms. And whereas research suggests that the cause of Parkinson's disease is a combination of genetic and environmental factors not yet fully determined, even as 2024 saw the identification of a biomarker for earlier, more accurate diagnosis and the passage of the National Plan to End Parkinson's Disease Act to accelerate the search for a cure. And whereas volunteers, caregivers, nonprofit organizations, medical professionals, and researchers are striving to improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's and their families through outreach, education, and greater access to resources, including Parkinson's-specific exercise programs, Care Partner respite grants. And whereas James Parkinson, who was born on April 11th, described the symptoms most commonly associated with Parkinson's disease over 200 years ago, thus the name of the disease and the designation of the month of April to raise awareness of Parkinson's. Now, therefore it be resolved, I, Kelly Davis, Mayor of the City of Auburn, on behalf of the council, do proclaim April 2026 as Parkinson's Awareness Month and encourage participation in raising awareness, supporting research, and creating a compassionate community for those impacted by Parkinson's disease. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very
Would you
much.
like to say anything?
Here in the Auburn area, we have over 100 people who are members of the Parkinson's support group, the Care Partners, and the Person with Parkinson's. And we meet several times a month, once for speakers, once for the Care Partners alone, once for those who are living alone and have Parkinson's. And we've started to have just an informal coffee once a month. So we are trying to support those who have Parkinson's, and we thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter. You make the decision.
Okay. All right, next we have a Women's History Month. We're going to do a across the table here because we're a lot of women.
Okay, I'll start us out. Recognizing March 2026 as Women's History Month. Whereas each March, we celebrate Women's History Month, a time to recognize and honor the many contributions women have made to our community, our nation, and our world.
And whereas women have shaped our history and continue to lead in every field, public service, education, business, science, the arts, and beyond. And
Whereas their leadership, strength, and determination have helped build stronger, more vibrant communities, and
whereas Women's History Month is also a time to reflect on the progress we've made and to recommit ourselves to expanding opportunity and equity for all.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Kelly Davis, Mayor of the City of Auburn, on behalf of the City Council, proudly proclaims March 2026 as Women's History Month. And be it further proclaimed that we encourage all residents to celebrate the achievements of women, past and present, and to support the next generation of women leaders. Thank you very much.
Chocolate button.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, moving on to adoption of the agenda. This is the time set aside for council members and/or the public to ask for removal, postponement, or a change to the listed sequence of an agenda item. The agenda will be approved by consensus of the council. Do we have any staff requests?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, we're going to pull off number 2 and number 3. Those are the 2 leases because we need to work through some other issues associated with those. So be bringing them back at a later date.
Okay, thank you. Council? 5.
Is this for the consent then? Yes, I'd like to remove item number
We're just on the
5.
agenda, I think.
I thought you were just on the, yeah,
We're just doing the agenda and then.
you're just on
consent.
approval of the agenda.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay. You looked at me. So-
No, well, Amy told me it was all together.
Gonna remove an item.
Yeah. So I have to do. Okay.
But I move we approve the agenda as is,
Okay. Any requests from the public?
as amended.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one blanket motion with a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless persons request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for discussion and separate action. Any items removed will be considered after the motion to approve the consent calendar. We have items 2 and 3 removed.
Item number 5, please.
Item number 5,
I'd like to remove item number 6.
number 6. Any requests from the public? Oh, okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move approval of the consent agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Amara,
Yes.
Dowden Calvillo,
Aye.
Holmes,
aye,
Riddell Harris.
Aye.
And Mayor Davis.
Aye. All right, and I know we are holding 2 and 3 off. Item number 5.
So item number 5, yes, this is the tiles that are asked to be placed, and I highly support them. We have Charlie Yu, we have Harriet Crandall, we have Key Chin, and we have Leadership Auburn. But we also have David Albright, and his son is here tonight, so I just wanted to pull this and expressed my gratitude. I knew his dad. I worked with his dad a long time ago. He was right next door to Nats Minster, Fowler's TV. And anyway, so I'm excited to have this tile here, and thank you for coming tonight. And that's his beautiful wife, Laura. They happen to be my neighbors too.
Oh,
So anyway, I move we.
yeah, it's a kind of a perplexing process.
Yes, it'll be on the tile.
Yeah, the tile itself is in the packet.
Yes.
Very nice. Mhm.
So anyway, so I move we approve the Streetscape History and Art Advisory Committee recommendations.
I'll second.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Amara.
Oh,
Yep.
That's it's fine. I was gonna say, is there any public comment?
Do we have any public comment?
He
I do kind of have it a little bit.
Okay, roll call to the council. Councilmember Amara.
Yes.
Dowden Calvillo.
Aye.
Holmes. Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Mayor Davis.
Yes, motion passes. And item number 6.
Thank you. I pulled item number 6, which is our artificial intelligence acceptable use policy. The main reason why I wanted to pull it was basically to highlight that we have one, which a lot of companies don't have one yet. So I'm excited about having that. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that AI is changing incredibly rapidly, and trying to get your arms around it with a policy is a little bit challenging as well. And I know on here it says several things are going to be approved by the city manager, which he is a very knowledgeable person, but I wouldn't expect him to be an AI expert because it's very hard to stay up and be an AI expert right now. So I want to make sure that we're thinking forward and thinking about making sure we have technology resources and expertise that he can utilize in order to be able to make those kinds of decisions, because it's changing weekly right now, and there's a lot to kind of keep in mind. I was looking at also in section C, it talks about the different kinds of data governance, and one of it talks about for internal use only, and also confidential pieces. And I just want to, once something's out there, it's out there. And there's a lot of companies that have some kind of rules and guidelines that may be doing the right thing now, but doesn't mean next week they couldn't totally change all their rules and guidelines and do something that we don't want them to do with the data. So we just need to be kind of conscious of, once it's out in there, it's for everyone's consumption and could be utilized in various ways. So I just wanted to highlight that we're going to need to make sure that this is a living document, and we're probably going to be updating it and making sure we get resources to make sure that the city manager has what he needs to be able to make these decisions, because there's a lot of decisions along with this. So that's all I wanted to.
We were actually talking about this in the hallway, that government in general is very slow to react to this kind of stuff, right? And by the time that we do react, the policy is already outdated. Bolo gets it.
Well, gets it.
Follow gets
So, so yeah, the point's well taken. Making sure that our either IT consultants or other staff, IT staff, whatever we end up working with, has expertise, or at least knows who to call to help guide those decisions, is going to be really important. I was just going to ask ChatGPT, like, if it's okay, but that's probably not the best way to go about it.
And I don't have any doubts the staff would be doing it with the best of intentions. It's just a lot of the stuff has back end things that nobody knows are actually happening. And so it's kind of hard to determine what's good and what's bad at that point. So,
Yep.
but thank you for that. I appreciate that. With that, I will move to approve.
And I'll second.
All right, any public comment? All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Amara.
Yes.
Dowden Calvillo.
Aye.
Holmes. Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Mayor Davis.
Aye. All right, and that is our consent agenda. Moving on to public comment. This is the time provided so that the public may speak to the council on any item not on the agenda. Please make your comments as brief as possible, not to exceed 3 minutes. The council cannot act on items not included on this agenda. Items may be referred to staff or placed on a future agenda. Do we have any public comment? No. You're welcome. No. Okay.
Sandy has one.
Yeah.
I just have a quick story. So this weekend I was decided I wanted to go have dinner downtown, and I wanted to have a glass of wine, and I did not want to drive back. So I looked, unfortunately, on AI, and it said our on-demand bus is until 11, And so I went downtown and had my dinner and my glass of wine, and I did not want to walk back. So I called On Demand, and sure enough, on Fridays, they're closed at 7 p.m., Saturdays, 5 p.m. So I decided, okay, what does a kid do if he doesn't want to drive back? He calls Uber. Well, there's no Uber in Auburn, so you have to wait for an Uber in Sacramento, which takes an hour. So I guess the point of the story is I hope we get an update on our on-demand schedule. I think we're going to have expanded hours. And I also hope that our Auburn Police Department will help advocate for on-demand bus to be put in place in proper strategic places for these kids and people that come out of the bars, so that, you know, they don't have to call Uber, they don't have to drive under the influence. So I'm hoping in the future we can get the on-demand bus to expand hours and be visible to everyone so that they can go downtown and feel like they don't have to drive their car back home. Anyway, that's my story.
Love it. Thank you.
Sure. I just wanted to highlight that Placer County 4-H is having their summer camp this summer, and their registration is open. Placer County 4-H has gone through some challenges where they had their campsite get flooded out, and then there was COVID, and then it was a little bit challenging to come back, and they've really fought to get a really good program up and going. And it's going to be the first week that school is out during the summer, and it's a great experience. A lot of the counselors are all the counselors are actually youth, and they make all of the plans. They decide the theme and they run the camp, and then the adults are really there to make sure everyone's safe and well fed. But it's a great leadership experience for those teens that get to kind of guide the younger students. So I just wanted to highlight that for everyone, because it's a great thing. And I went, and I know Councilman down in Covio went, and so it's just a great thing that a lot of members of our community have gotten to experience.
Thank you.
And Madam Mayor, I just wanted to note for the purposes of the record that the vault is finally opening their doors for business on Friday, March 27th at 4 o'clock. I think they're going to be open until about 10 o'clock. So I know we all had a preview with our holiday party there, but looking forward to the vault opening. I know a lot of people have been asking, when are they opening? Well, they're opening
here.
March 27th, Friday.
That escape room door is very inviting, and I want to know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know when they're opening because that's a separate business, but I hear it's pretty cool up
Looks
there.
really interesting
So,
outside.
yeah, there's going to be.
Room is already open on
There-
weekends.
Oh,
weekends,
wow.
okay.
I think they're going to expand to 5 rooms though. So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
Very cool. I'll share April 18th, Protect American River Canyon is doing a canyon cleanup with free on-demand starting from here at 7:30, including trail shuttles for pickup. It's a great opportunity to get down there and clean. Auburn Ale House is very supportive. You often get lunch out of it and maybe a coupon for a drink at the end. And then Canyons Race is April 24th to 26th. 3 days, many distances, lots of runners, crews, families. So let's have our city ready with open arms and welcome thousands of people into Auburn.
From all over the world. I mean, there's like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know how
I know
many.
they've got runners
50
from
countries,
China.
50 countries
Yeah.
or something. So, yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah, all right. Any other public comment?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on to council business. These items include discussion and or action by the city council, starting with a vacant commercial building update.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. Jonathan Wright, your Economic Development Director. And we're on. Sweet. If you recall, last year, I came to you and told you I had a plan. And so one of the things we want to do, especially with something as important as vacant commercial properties to our local economy, is I wanted to keep that in the forefront. I want to keep it in the forefront of everybody's mind that we're actually doing things to make this happen. And hopefully when people start looking at the city of Auburn, they realize that we're making changes and that some of these things may open up some opportunities for future developments. You've seen this before for me. I just want to highlight again that vacant commercial buildings do cause issues within our community. You know, they're major sources of blight. You know, you can look down or look in Old Town right now and you have broken windows, there's graffiti, buildings in disrepair, overabundance of real estate signs for rent here and there in certain districts. It also discourages economic development. I mean, really, if you're looking at investing in a community, you want to see that it's well taken care of and that your dollars are going to continue to grow. When they look at certain areas where there's no buildings, or excuse me, no businesses going in, not a lot of investment being made, then obviously that discourages development. I believe that has a lot to do with why it took so long to get Upper Lincoln Way to start to gentrify. Is just people looked and they're like, well, nobody else is investing. Why should I? And so we had kind of that stagnation that's recently kind of broken loose. Attractive nuisance, you know, what happens when you have graffiti in one area? Well, you get more graffiti. People tend to gravitate towards those things and do nefarious activities. Broken windows, one of the things that Marybell's is experiencing was people actually were taking the bricks. Those old the old fired red bricks, they would come over and just pick pieces out of them and they started creating holes in the building. So a lot of that was definitely because of the fact it was vacant and sitting there. Deterrent to would-be customers and investors. I mean, if you look at it from Sierra Moon standpoint and you look across the way and you say, well, this whole block, there's really nothing going, there's a bar and then not a lot going on. Why would I venture around the corner up Commercial Street and find out that there's a great business called Zoosh right there, that there's all these other businesses that are right there that are still part of the community, but just kind of disjointed because we have these gaps that are there here and there. Causing the spread of blight, like I said, you know, when you have graffiti in one location, it seems like it just spreads. So one of the things we deal with vacant buildings is graffiti activity, and it's a constant maintenance issue. The biggest thing is, though, when you sit on a commercial property in a commercial core area of a city, you are basically sitting on a property contrary to what the intended use is. We go through all these plannings with our general plan. We go through all the zoning. We work on programs to try to promote development. We have you pay people like me to try to get people to come in and do things. But if your property is not available, or technically because of the difficulty that people have getting into your property, it's might as well not be available. That's contrary to the intended use of the property. This started a long time before 2025. I know that a lot of the people sitting here at the dais heard from different business districts, heard from different people. I recall sitting here probably about 3 or 4 years ago, listening to people give testimony about the amount of vacancies we had. Council directed staff to look into this further, figure out a path forward. And let's just say we've gone through some negotiation on how to do this. But the bottom line is June 23rd, I was directed to go do a workshop with the property owners. From that workshop on December 8th, I reported back that I was going to start a different program. And this is the outcome of that program. We had 4 things I was going to do. One is look at going after the vacant, non-available commercial vacancies with our nuisance ordinance, finding a way that, or looking at the things that were deficient there and going, okay, it's time. We've given them a lot of time to sit and not do anything with these properties. So now it's time we take action. So the other things that we had going, we'll go into here in a sec. So as a result, we sent out a number of, actually working with the Auburn Police Department, give them credit where credit's due. They sent out letters on our behalf and notifying them that they're in violation of several nuisance violations. And I know this, if you just look at it, you think, well, actually, this looks like a better picture, except for this is the picture we've been looking at for about 15 plus years. This actually shows progress. So this is something that has happened recently. These improvements to the building, they've decided that they're actually going to go forward. They immediately fixed the deteriorating bricks so it didn't become an attractive nuisance, and are now meeting with us this week to talk about the steps going forward. They have a plan to repair the broken window at the happy hour. There's a number of things that we've lined out incrementally, and they've agreed to start working on to make this building come back to life.
And Jonathan, it's those 2 buildings. It's not just the Annabelle's. It's the other one too.
Happy hour. And
I mean,
Marybell's.
Marybell's. Oh,
Yeah, Marybell's and Happy Hour.
Yeah, Marybell's and the other.
Happy Hour.
Yeah, happy hour. That's right.
Yes, we're working with the property owner on both of those simultaneously. One of the issues they had to resolve with the window was there was some disagreement with the person who, or the company that broke it, and they were working on a negotiation there. I'm told that's been settled, so now they're going to move forward and repair it. So that's one step on happy hour. We already have a step here on Marybell's going, and miss something? And this is the next conversation is talking about what type of actual finish work they're going to do on there and get them into the program to get through historic design review.
Can't wait.
Yep. The other thing that was pointed out by the landowners was, maybe we could use some help. Maybe the city could put together a registry and help us market our vacancies. Currently, we do have a site. It's on the economic development page. But we only have a number of listings right now. Right, what I have on there right now are kind of the pocket listings, the things I know of that are out there but aren't actively being marketed, just so we have some type of exposure and someplace that I can point to. This would be, like the old JCPenney building where the Ventique just went in. Very similar to that. It's these, off the mainstream real estate pages kind of places that really deserve as much commercial merit as anything. That's not that the people aren't trying to rent them. It's just that for circumstance and timing, they just don't have the ability to do it at this very moment. So we're helping them out there. We encourage any property owner that has a vacancy to go ahead and provide that to us. We're happy to keep that updated on the page. But thus far, this only went up, bless you. This only went up about a month ago. And so it's just in its infancy as we're trying to gather data and gather information on it. But that was one of the second items I told the council I was going to work on. Third is to look at our signage ordinance to see what type of provisions there might be for temporary signage. One of the other issues that we've experienced was the perception on certain corridors in town that there's a overabundance of vacancies. And that partially has to do with the overabundance of signage that we have out there identifying that there's property available. Many people don't know that that's actually the Livingston building, and the top floor there, as you can see with the windows, is almost entirely full. But from the exterior, it looks like this building is almost entirely vacant, which is counterintuitive. And so working on a regulation that would in some regards, work to limit the amount of signage out there, to limiting it to something that's reasonable, that identifies that property is available, or that there's certain portions of that property available, but otherwise relying on what we have today, which is technology and people looking on the internet. I'll back up real quick. And I've been working with the city attorney. He provided a couple of different model signage ordinances that I'm slowly getting through. So that's in process. This last one I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about. It's still out there though, but have had conversations with the business associations about window decorations and what that could look like going forward. Obviously, we work with them in the districts on what program we'd roll out in the future to basically cover those big, empty plate glass windows that don't have anything behind them with something that's interesting, so that people may want to go from one block and cross over that vacant block because there's something interesting to look at, and then discover on the other side there's more commercial businesses. Or working like what the city manager said, was doing some type of window cling and having it be uniform, so at least there's the perception that there's more going on in those districts than actually is. Which I do want to note that while we talk about commercial vacancies, there's very few of them that we actually have out there, and the availability is even, well, it's relative, but the ones that are on the market that are reasonably priced, have landlords that are working with them, those go very quickly. The other ones that we have out there are for whatever reason still available in whole or in part. That's it for my quick update. Happy to answer any questions, or you can tell me to go sit down.
I have a quick question. So, you've indicated that staff has issued 4 abatement notices to owners,
Correct.
and 3 are responding. And so I guess my concern is just the time staff has put in to go through this, and we have nothing in return. We charge for a lot of things, but now we're not charging for this. We're just doing it. And so I guess that was, when we brought the vacancy fee, that would have taken care of that, but we're doing this a different way. So I guess back to my question then is approximately how many hours have been spent on these abatement and nuisance?
I can't speak for the law enforcement side. For my part, it's been probably several hours per.
And follow up and,
It's still, yeah, it's an ongoing
Ongoing.
process, so it's continuing to log hours. Just the meeting on Thursday will take
Mhm.
up probably about 5-person hours and staff hours for that.
But
Yeah.
just to follow up on that, though, I mean, the abatement process and code enforcement is a duty that we have overall. So, I mean, we don't charge someone to do an inspection on a house that has a code enforcement issue, or there's a hazard or what have you. So it's just, it's part of what we do. So, I mean,
I'm not arguing. I'm
Yeah.
just saying there were alternatives.
Yes, I
And,
understand.
this is again, ongoing. Police have been involved and the result to me, there is some progress, but maybe not as much as we'd like.
We got,
And has there been interest in renting it out since they've upgraded, at least at Mary Bell's and Happy Hour? Or Happy Hour, I think, is already.
right, the condition on the inside hasn't changed. Those things we're going to talk to them about on Thursday. This was just the facade, because when you're looking at the attractive nuisance aspect and those things that are listed out in our nuisance ordinance, it very much deals with the exterior facade of those buildings. So
Yeah.
that's where we're focused on right now, getting those improved so that they look good and rentable, and then talking to them at the same time about what the inside could be. I did mention to the property owners about future tenants. They said they didn't have anybody at the time, but we'll be talking about what we can do to help them with that going forward.
Great. Thank you. Because I think my personal belief is our goal is to get the tenants in there so that we have a vitality.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's the only question I have.
I just had a quick question on the program in partnership with the city's business improvement districts, the BIDs, for the paint or the artwork in the windows. Will you give us an update on that plan? Is that a plan that the council's going to have to approve, or,
At
you
this-
know?
Yeah, at this point, it's just a concept. So
Yeah, but I mean, once you develop it, is that something that we'll see, or if we're not taking action on it, will you give us an update?
If we decide to codify it within the signage ordinance, which discussed with the city attorney, that would obviously come back. Otherwise, programmatically, yes, I would keep you updated as it
Okay.
goes.
Because I like that idea. We kind of talked about putting art in some of those windows and collaborating with the Arts Commission and, really, or using old photographs of what the building may have been used, in the past. And so anyway, very interested in that. Thank you very much. And I'm pleased to see that we have some progress, especially on those two buildings in Old Town that have been, I'm very pleased to see that the owner is taking some action. So that's great news, and I will continue to encourage that strongly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate, you've been kind of working on this for a while now and been doing a lot of outreach, and I really appreciate all the effort you've put into it. We were having dinner at Pasquale's over the weekend, and it kind of looks right out on those particular businesses. So it will be nice when they're not boarded up windows and things like that, just as they come into town. I did have a question. I know we're working on the form-based code and trying to maybe allow residential over commercial. Are there any folks that have vacant spaces that are thinking that's going to convert to residential rather than trying to fill it up with additional commercial space? Does anyone talk to you about that?
Yeah, we've been working with the property owner to actually look at that concept, that they have available second-story space. Technically, they don't need the form-based code to do that, though. We can do it under our current ordinance. So have had that discussion for about a year now.
Not our current one said that they weren't allowed to have residential above commercial unless they were living in it.
You
The
can have
building
apartment-
The building owner, yeah.
You can have apartment. So it would be considered an apartment within the building.
That's not how it's been explained to us in the past. So that's interesting. Okay. All right. That's all I had. Thank you. Yeah.
I just forgot to ask about the photography store that's vacant, nice, but vacant. Nothing, no
What
do you wanna know?
progress.
I have not gotten any response from that owner whatsoever.
Okay. Thank you for your efforts and for trying. I know it's a lot of extra work and time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you to the building owners who are making improvements. If
Here, here.
you're watching, I want that to be appreciated because we do a lot of ho-hum and, you know, there aren't improvements, but I do want to highlight the folks that are doing the work and putting the time and energy in. So thank you. Yeah, sorry, we didn't ask for any public comment. Any public comment on that one? Okay. All right, Chief Rogers, Auburn Fire Department 2025 year-end report.
Try not to blow your ears out tonight. All right, good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, and members of the community. I'm John Rogers, your fire chief, and I'm honored to be here this evening to present the Auburn Fire Department's 2025 year-end report. Tonight, I'll be highlighting the work your firefighters completed over the last year, and I've also provided a set of handouts to the city clerk, and I'd ask that she distribute them at the conclusion of the presentation. So I'd like to start with our mission statement. Just as a reminder, your firefighters are dedicated to fostering the development and safety of our community through prevention, public education, and emergency response with pride and honored. Highlighted in our mission statement are our three core mission areas: prevention, public education, and emergency response. Emergency response mission remains the continued focus of the fire department, as you will see this evening. Up on the screen right now is our 2025 incident activity plot map. This includes all calls reported through the National Fire Incident Reporting System. This national system has been retired and has been replaced with the National Emergency Response Information System. The new system has been modernized and aims to streamline efficiency and access to data. We look forward to seeing this system's performance in the future and the impacts it will have to both firefighter and civilian safety efforts. You'll notice that the map does not include our city boundaries, as our current reporting software does not have the ability to overlay our boundaries on top of their map. The map uses different colors for different call types. The most prominent is blue, representing EMS calls, which I'll speak about shortly. Overall, the map looks very similar to 2024. Most of our calls occur near I-80, Highway 49, downtown and Old Town, areas with higher population and that are heavily traveled. Naturally, this increases the likelihood of emergency incidents occurring. The map on the screen now highlights our 60 fire-related incidents that we responded to within the city in 2025. These include structure, vehicle, vegetation, dumpster, and other outside fires. As always, we also provide automatic and mutual aid to our neighboring agencies for additional fire-related incidents outside the city of Auburn, and I'll cover our aid statistics here in a moment. So in 2025, your firefighters responded to 2,311 incidents. 1,487 of those were EMS-related calls, and those were increased over the previous year. All other incident types were decreased from the previous year. 459 good intent calls, 155 service calls, 98 false alarms, 42 hazardous conditions, 60 fires, and 10 other type incidents. After reviewing our data, we've seen a continued upward trend in EMS-related incidents, which accounted for 64.3% of our calls in 2025. Our 60 fire-related responses included 25 structure fires and 20 vegetation fires. Compared to 2024, that's one fewer structure fire and 4 additional vegetation fires. In 2025, fire-related calls accounted for 2.6% of our total call volume. There's been a slight reduction in fire-related calls over the last few years, but it's not significant. The bar graph displays our 10-year call history. Our 2025 call volume represents a 6% decrease from 2024. However, over the last decade, we've seen a steady increase in our call volume, and In that time frame, our personnel have responded to more than 20,000 incidents, averaging about 2,214 calls per year. Few notable trends and additional statistics. Our busiest day for the last 3 years continues to be Friday. Our busiest month for 2025 was August. In 24, it was June. 23, it was January, and 22, it was May. So there's no trend there. Our busiest time of day is the same as 2024, between 8 a.m. and noon. And historically, the Auburn Fire Department receives the majority of their calls between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And since 2022, approximately 73% of the calls received by the Auburn Fire Department occur between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Our average Code 3 travel time within the city limits is 3 minutes and 52 seconds. So from the time the captain presses the responding button on our tablet or goes on the air on the radio until the time they arrive at the incident scene, 3 minutes and 52 seconds. And then I'd just like to highlight that we utilized JOA staffing to backfill our engine company personnel for 572 hours in 2025. And that equates to approximately 24-hour shifts, or on average 2 shifts per month. So a quick review of our mutual aid statistics. And just a reminder, mutual aid occurs when another agency requests our help. Automatic aid is prearranged, allowing the closest available resources to respond immediately, regardless of jurisdiction. And then, for example, a residential structure fire within the city of Auburn automatically receives 2 battalion chiefs, 6 engine companies, and an ambulance. And this response aligns with NFPA recommendations to assemble at least 15 personnel on scene within 9 minutes, 90% of the time. So our 2025 statistics, we provided aid 258 times and received aid 282 times. So this is a statistic that should be monitored just to ensure our neighboring agencies are not being overly relied upon to provide services in our community. In a perfect world, the ratio would be 1 call or 1 aid call given to 1 aid call received, but there's no way to ensure calls for service are equally matched between neighboring agencies year over year. And just to highlight, this is the first year since 2020, and I didn't go back any farther, that we have received aid more times than that we've provided it. We also track back-to-back calls and simultaneous calls, another statistic that we report to you every year. Back-to-back calls, as a reminder, are those that occur within 30 minutes of each other, which is important because fire personnel need time to rehab, complete documentation, and prepare our equipment. And then simultaneous calls for service are calls that occur when units are already committed to another incident. So in 2025, we responded to 579 back-to-back calls and 295 simultaneous calls. So if we have an incident that happens at the same time, that's when we would need to rely on our automatic and mutual aid partners. So as our total call volume has increased over the past decade, our simultaneous calls have risen as well. I want to take a minute to highlight some significant incidents that occurred within the city of Auburn in 2025. First up would be a multifamily structure fire that occurred on May 29th. A shift with Battalion Chief Gell, Captain Murphy, Engineer Ray, and Firefighter Steele responded to a multifamily structure fire on High Street. Due to the 2025 annual Wildland Refresher Training exercise at the Gold Country Fairgrounds, the incident was quickly mitigated. The response included 15 engine companies, 1 truck company, 2 breathing support units, 3 ambulances, and 6 chief officers. And if you add all that up, that's approximately 50 firefighting personnel. Also in attendance was the Auburn Police Department, who arrived just prior to our fire units and assisted with securing the incident scene and closing High Street. So your firefighters played an important role in holding the fire to the floor of origin and keeping the fire from extending into the adjacent fourplex and the city-owned parcel to the rear of the structure. This fire caused 2 minor injuries that required transport to the hospital, and 5 residents were displaced. The next fire occurred on August 25th, residential, single-family residential structure, C shift with Battalion Chief McCarthy, Captain Rendon, Engineer Lawton, and Firefighter Sloan responded to a reported structure fire on Aeolia Drive. The single-family home was located within a very high fire hazard severity zone, and crews arrived to find it well involved in fire. This fire posed a significant threat to surrounding homes and vegetation due to the time of the year. The temperature at the time of call, which was approximately 5 a.m., was approximately 70 degrees, and by 3 p.m. that afternoon reached a high in Auburn of 95 degrees. Firefighters from Auburn, Newcastle, Placer Hills, South Placer, and CAL FIRE Placer County Fire acted quickly to knock down the fire and contain it to the property of origin. 2 occupants sustained minor injuries and were transported to the hospital for medical evaluation. A couple challenges that we faced on that were specifically related to unsecured utilities. Due to the fire damage at the gas shutoff, PG&E had to dig into the street to shut off the gas supply to the house, which increased the time it took us to mitigate that fire. And then the last fire I want to highlight is a residential structure fire that occurred on October 21st on High Street. That was handled by B Shift and Battalion Chief D'Ambrosi, Captain Bowers, Engineer Lawton, and Firefighter Sims, who responded to a reported structure fire on the High Street extension. The units arrived at scene and found heavy smoke showing from a 2-story residential structure. The single occupant exited prior to fire units arriving at scene. That fire originated in the kitchen and extended into the attic. Firefighters searched the house and were able to rescue the family's dog. The fire took 5 additional engine companies to support suppression efforts and 23 minutes to control from the time of dispatch. I'd like to highlight that our fire personnel arrived at scene prior to the dispatch being completed, and that's because Captain Bowers and his engine company were monitoring the Auburn Police Department's frequency and heard the call. They quickly turned out and responded to the incident, and their commitment to emergency response positively affected the outcome of that fire.
It's interesting they were both on High Street. Wasn't there one, I thought, in Gold Street, or was that the year before? There was one that was in a kitchen in an attic in Gold Street, but
I don't recall, but
Yeah,
we had
it's-
one on a newer home on the end of the extension, and then we had one directly, the first one was directly across from the fairgrounds.
the fairgrounds, yeah, that's
Mhm.
crazy that both on High Street though.
All right, so beyond our local incidents, our personnel supported the Palisades incident in Los Angeles in January for 10 days. And you can see our fire personnel getting the opportunity to spend some time with Jay Leno. The deployment generated approximately $79,000 in reimbursable revenue and provided valuable operational experience to our personnel. Staffing limitations due to injuries and vacancy made statewide participation challenging in 2025, but we hope to support the master mutual aid system further in 2026. I'd like to take a second to highlight the training that was completed in 2025. Your personnel completed 1,421 hours of training. Emergency operations training remained our largest category, accounting for approximately 40% of the total hours of training. 550 hours were emergency operations, 207 hours were driver operator, 78 dedicated to rescue, 348 of officer development, 124 hours of EMS training, and 114 hours of prevention training. Some people would ask, if you run nearly 70% of your calls as EMS, why don't you train more for the EMS related emergencies? Well, we run those calls more frequently, so we get training on those incidents every single day. So typically we focus our efforts in training on areas that are a lower frequency event. New technology, thanks to a $2,000 donation from the Motherlode Model T Club, along with $1,417 from the fire department's budget. We were able to purchase new cordless tools, including light towers, reciprocating saws, floodlights, a blower, grinder, batteries, and charging stations. These new tools reduce noise, eliminate exhaust exposure, and improve the safety to our firefighters and community. And I'd just like to take a second to thank council for supporting the acceptance of this donation and allowing us to purchase this valuable equipment. All right, switching to our next mission area, fire prevention. Our prevention mission plays an important role in reducing risk in our community. In 2025, we received 43 hazardous vegetation complaints. And of those 43, 39 property owners were in compliance after they received notification, and 4 were forwarded to code enforcement. These efforts brought 91 acres of land within the city limits into compliance with our fuel standards. We also issued 178 burn permits, indicating strong participation with hazardous fuel reduction efforts throughout our community. In April of 25, we updated the fire hazard severity zone map to ensure clearly and accurately defined parcel boundaries. This update significantly increased the number of parcels classified as very high fire hazard severity zone within Auburn and impacted our real estate defensible space inspection program. Our inspection team completed 14 inspections as part of real estate transactions in the very high fire hazard severity zone after the change in that mapping. I'd like to talk about our state mandated inspection program. In 2025, we shifted our mandated inspections to a fiscal year cycle. So our staff is currently inspecting 89 multifamily occupancies in 8 schools. We will return to council with the required report when the inspections are completed. And although not a 2025 activity, we were fortunate to bring on prevention volunteer Megan Schreiber in January of 26. And she's already taken on the majority of these inspections. But with that, we're also relying on our engine company personnel to assist with conducting inspections at our large occupancies in schools. In August of 2025, the city's code enforcement officer, Elijah Keim, began working out of the fire department's administrative office 1 day a week. His time has been focused on ensuring our state mandated inspections and hazardous vegetation complaints are in compliance with our requirements. His presence in the fire department has been greatly appreciated, and I'd like to thank him for his efforts in advancing fire safety in the city of Auburn. I'd also like to thank Chief Morrison and Lieutenant Neary for their partnership and willingness to support code enforcement's presence within the fire department. This is new territory for us, at least during my tenure, and it's alleviated some workload from our chief officers and engine company personnel. And I'd also like to take an opportunity to thank Karen Seward from Finance for her efforts with getting our invoicing completed. And because of that, her work has also led to an increased compliance with city business licensing requirements for our mandated facilities. Vegetation management, talk real quick about the Baltimore Ravine Shaded Fuel Break project. So in early 25, council adopted the mitigated negative declaration and approved a contract with White Oak Land Management, who treated 120 acres and finished about $30,000 under budget. And right now we are currently conducting the bid process for phase 2 of the project. Thanks to our administrative volunteer, Jeff Michaels, and our registered professional forester, Allison Ernie, for her exceptional work with continuing to move this project towards completion. Couple additional fuel reduction efforts. The Union Pacific Railroad continued to treat their right-of-way throughout the city of Auburn, utilizing a local vendor, Chase Tree Service. And I'd also like to mention the fuel reduction efforts completed by your Public Works team in 2025. Matt Carducci, Tim Percival, Eric Lynch, Lee Hoffman, Cadence Mitchell, and Andy Firkin dedicated 3,950 man-hours to treat acres at the airport, wastewater treatment plant, various vacant parcels, public right-of-way, and waterways throughout the city. Their efforts reduce fire risk on 84 acres of city-owned and controlled property. Public education, we remain committed to providing public education to our community. In 2025, we participated in 33 educational events, which touched more than 4,400 adults and children. These events included presentations and major community events such as Touch a Truck, the Harvest Festival, the Canyons Endurance Run, 4th of July celebration, National Night Out, Cruise Night, and others. Auburn Fire also collaborated with the Hook and Ladder Company #1 on various community outreach efforts throughout the year, which I'll talk about here in a minute. So some personnel updates. In 2025, the Auburn Fire Department welcomed firefighter Jeff Costa to the city of Auburn in October. He brings 20 years of fire service experience from multiple agencies, most recently serving with the Newcastle Fire Protection District. He is assigned to A shift and worked multiple JOA shifts prior to his full-time appointment with the Auburn Fire Department. He's completed numerous fire service certification programs and holds both a firefighter 1 and 2 and fire officer certification. He has an associate's degree in fire technology and previously held the rank of engineer for over 3 years before joining the city of Auburn. Beyond his career, he's a dedicated family man. He and his wife, Mary, are the proud parents of Sam and Carmen and reside in Placer County. He's excited to continue his fire service journey with Auburn and hopes to finish his career here with the department. And he's hiding in the back if you want to give a little wave back there. Up next is the Firefighter of the Year. So Buck Sims was selected as the 2025 Firefighter of the Year in recognition of his contributions to the organization. He served as a volunteer firefighter from 2007 to 2010 with Auburn, while also working as a seasonal firefighter with CAL FIRE, where he worked until becoming a full-time firefighter here in Auburn in 2016. He plays an important role in equipment inventory and asset management, the department's drone program, technical rescue and extrication programs, ladder testing, and pre-fire planning. He was instrumental in implementing the department's regionally interoperable SCBA program. He coordinates our annual fit and flow testing, oversees PPE replacement, and has led annual pump testing efforts in collaboration with all of our JOA agencies. Firefighter Sims holds state fire marshal certifications as a fire apparatus driver operator and a company officer, and consistently demonstrates compassion and service to the Auburn community. And you can see he's holding his little buddy there, one of his minions, and he's in the back as well.
Yes. And I'd like to note that the minion he's holding also is sporting a mustache, the customary Auburn Fire Department mustache.
All right, so I'd like to just take a minute to talk about the Auburn Hook and Ladder Company #1. And just as a reminder, they're a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting the community, the fire department, and its members. Throughout the year, the Hook and Ladder Company participates in various events, such as the St. Patrick's Day Parade, fire department educational events, the 4th of July Pancake Breakfast and Parade, the Co-op, National Night Out, Safe Trick or Treating, the Veterans Day Parade, Festival of Lights Parade, the Christmas tree lighting, Santa Escort, and Country Christmas. The funds raised from these events play a crucial role in caring for and maintaining their historic 1914 Buick and 1943 Ford GI apparatus. The funds also contribute to purchasing equipment for the fire department and supporting the Hook and Ladder Company's ongoing efforts throughout the community. So a big thank you to all the dedicated members and volunteers for their continued support of the Auburn Fire Department. So in February, they made a few awards at our annual roll call dinner, and I'd just like to bring those in front of you this evening. So the business of the year for the Auburn Hook and Ladder Company was Foothill Firearms. They were recognized for their continued support of the company and their mission. They've provided various items and cash contributions to support many Hook and Ladder Company events. In 2025, they assisted with supporting the annual roll call dinner with catering ideas, setup, and cleanup, and their support is greatly appreciated by the company. Up next is Bill McKenzie, the 2025 Member of the Year. He was recognized for his leadership and dedication to the Auburn Hook and Ladder Company as the elected secretary. He volunteered to serve as secretary in 2024 and was reelected in 2025. In these 2 years, he's played a key role in providing communication throughout the membership, improved record keeping for various committees, is a member of the peer support team, dedicates a whole lot of his time to support all of the Hook and Ladder events and fundraisers, and has been instrumental with advancing the success of the Hook and Ladder Company. And then finally, Steve Miller was recognized for his 63 years of service to the Auburn Hook and Ladder Company and the community. He's currently the longest serving member. He was Auburn's barber for many years and built strong relationships throughout the community. He's been a mentor to many members and is one of the go-to guys when it comes to the history of the company. And speaking of history, in June of 2025, after almost 18 months of work, April Loomis released a book that captured the history of the Auburn Fire Department and the Auburn Hook and Ladder Company #1. Their team spent hours sorting, researching, and cataloging over 170 years of historical artifacts and transformed their efforts into a book that honors our past and preserves it for future generations. And Hook and Ladder Company members that participated in that effort were retired Chief Sam McLean, John Bailey, John Fee, and Captain Yu. And I'd just like to take a minute to thank them as well. To close out our 2025 annual review, I'd like to highlight the most significant project completed by staff this year last year was the execution of the subjoint operations agreement with Placer Hills. This agreement, which took effect in December, enables both agencies to share admin, command and control, fire prevention, and related services. Since its implementation, staff from both organizations have been working diligently to integrate systems and operational practices, and will return to council at a future date to present data illustrating the agreement's performance, successes, and impacts on personnel across both agencies. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have any questions? Nope. Let's see if I had any comments. But no question. Go ahead. Comments.
I just wanted to thank you, Chief, and thanks to our fire department. You know, we're very fortunate in Auburn to have such dedicated men, and no women yet right now, right? But we have in the past, right?
We have our prevention volunteer, Megan Triber.
Yes, so there we go. Very happy to have that. Very happy about that. But very pleased, like I said, with the dedication of our employees with the fire department. The amount of training that's necessary, you illustrated that, you know, and the types of responses that we have to make, you know, medical always is the highest. During my first tenure, I did quite a few ride-alongs with the fire department, and it was amazing just to see firsthand what you're having to face. So, but thank you so much. Really appreciate all the work that you're doing to keep our residents safe, and especially on the wildfire mitigation side as well. You know, that's something that's evolved over the past 20 years. And so very pleased with that. And thank you so much for the great report today.
I'll just add my thanks too. We really appreciate you. You've been doing a great job as chief. We appreciate all of our fire staff as well, for making sure that we're all safe. And if anything arises, which some unexpected things this year did, that we know that we're in good hands with all of you being in our fire department. So we really appreciate your hard work and dedication. And even on the stuff like code enforcement, that's not as much fun, but we need to make sure we're doing it. I really appreciate all your attention to that. So thank you.
Echo what my council members have said. Thank you very much. Thank you for our new firefighters. It's exciting, and thank you. Keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you to the team. We should have had you guys come up here so it didn't look like Chief was talking alone. You guys are here too. So thank you so much. And Chief, thank you. Keep it up.
Thank you. And I couldn't do it without all the members of the department. So I really appreciate all their hard work and efforts as well.
Great work. Any public comment? Okay. Moving on to reports, city manager report.
It's hard to follow the fire chief.
Hey, did you put out any fires this week?
Only only
Fire.
with my 12-year-old, yeah. Uh, Amazing people in the fire department. Couple things quickly. I was able to meet with the interim Gold Country Fairgrounds CEO, Corinne Crowley, last week to talk about just general general Gold Country Fairgrounds staff. And it's really kind of impressing the importance of the communication back and forth, which is getting much better. The board hasn't hired a permanent CEO yet, but the search is continuing. And then I also reiterated to her that the city needs the fairgrounds to be successful, for the city to be successful, and that we'll do whatever we can to help push that forward as much as we can. And then also during the recent city directors retreat, all the department directors committed to sitting down with line staff in a department that's not their own. And so just to kind of see, like get a feel for what the line staff does, not in your own department. So just to kind of like branch out and see what's happening. So this past week, I was able to spend 2 hours in dispatch, police dispatch, with Jasmine Zavala. And I got to tell you, like, this came away with a whole like new appreciation of all the work that goes into running a dispatch center, especially when you're doing it by yourself. So she was very patient with me. I had to get up and use the restroom twice during the thing, so I would never be able to make a dispatcher work, but just very compassionate when they're talking to the callers and stuff. I was very, very impressed. Really, really interesting. Let's see. The other big one that I wanted to talk about on the police department side and city staff side also. So obviously we had the Celebrity Chef community event last week, I believe it was. I know that a couple council members were able to attend that. Police was there. Obviously, the fire department was there as well. City clerk was there. So I was not there, everybody else but me. But I had other stuff going. So just those kind of like family events that we have here are really, really nice to do. We also had the St. Patrick's Day Parade that we had a bunch of folks participating in as well. And then we had a regional drug trafficking operation result in multiple arrests last week. So the PD participated in a large scale multi-agency drug trafficking investigation last week that coordinated operations with multiple different agencies. Resulted in multiple arrests and the seizure of significant quantities of illegal narcotics, firearms, and cash throughout several jurisdictions. So, that strong collaboration that we have with our neighboring partner agencies, really important, being able to stop that kind of stuff from coming into this community. So I can answer questions if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. And I just want to reiterate how valuable this report is. So thank you. And if you're watching, sign up because it answers all the questions. So thank you. Future agenda items, any?
Yes, I actually have an item I'd like to request. I've been talking with our city manager about this, and this is fire. You're going to want to hear this. Unless you have to go to emergency, of course. But recently, our fire department responded on a mutual aid fire. I think it was in Ophir, was it? But there was a solar battery there, and that's toxic materials. And one of the things we were talking about is establishing a new, maybe a new requirement during the solar permitting process when there's a battery, so a notification process, so that when the person comes in to get a permit for solar and a battery, that we have some kind of a new database or something that we can have so that we can make a notation that they have a battery on their home or their business, so that is then accessible to the fire department or, before they're responding, so they can make sure that they are properly geared up for that particular site. So I think other jurisdictions may have done something, but Sean and I were just talking about it might be able to fit into that permitting process and at least capture the new batteries. I mean, solar has been around for a long time, but batteries are starting to become more and more popular. And so just wanted to bring something back to talk about that and see what we can do to keep our first responders safe in those situations.
I'll bring that back to with you, Jen. I
Yeah.
think we're all for
great.
talking about that.
Yeah.
The nice thing is that's been done in other jurisdictions, so we won't have to reinvent the wheel. I think we can do some research on what's already been done.
And what I talked to the chief about is if it's within our jurisdiction, we can capture it in CAD, the CAD system that they have. So permit is issued, they can capture it in CAD. So when they go to respond, it'll pop up on their system to show that there is one. But if we're responding outside of the
Makes it
city, we
hard.
don't have that same access. So
Mhm.
it's something that I think maybe countywide that the
Yeah.
chiefs should be.
Yeah, I think we
looking at.
might be able, I mean, if we can, establish something in the city and then go to the county in particular,
Right.
and say, look, we've got this, why don't you plug in? And, that way we can just keep everyone safe,
Yep.
so.
Yeah, it could be in their GIS system or something like that.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Are we also gonna ask to hear more about what procedures are followed that are different when a fire department responds to a solar battery? I mean, when there's a battery hazard, it would be I'd be interested in knowing what they're gonna do with that information and how that might change how they might respond to a call.
We would have that on another item, chief, I think is what we're
We'd have to
talking
put-
about.
Yeah, we're gonna
spot.
we might
The
have you come back
future.
and tell us about that later.
Yeah,
For now.
when we bring that item, because I mean, I'm sure there's equipment and things. of
Yeah,
that
it might
nature,
just
but-
be interesting just to
Yeah.
make sure that we have that policy lined out and how we're going, once they have that information, what they would do with it.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other agenda item requests? All right. City council reports. Member Amara?
Okay, well, the big one is the Downtown Business Association. I'm on the committee. I have a great committee for music on Friday nights. So please try and come, bring everybody. Friday, it'll start May 1st, go through September. And we've already have all the musicians lined up. They're wonderful. It's not just going to be rock. There will be some rock, classical. There's going to be Celtic, Irish. So it's going to be really wonderful. So it'll be 6 to 8 every Friday. So starting May 1st. So hopefully everyone can attend. And Downtown Business Association is paying for that. They're paying the musicians, and what a response. It was wonderful. So the other thing, DBA, they're going to spend some money on getting new trash cans around Auburn. So that's a good thing. Be looking for that. Also, the Spring Fest is May 16th. And sidewalk sale, they've already had one, but there's another one, April 11th and 12th. So come and
Great. Was the last
honor
one-
the sidewalk sale, get some
What-
good
Yeah.
deals.
When was Spring Fest?
Spring Fest, May 16th,
Okay.
What-
May 16th.
What is Spring Fest? Can you explain?
Spring Fest it's just, we're gonna have music and it'll be a festive opportunity.
What
and,
time is that? 'Cause that's when the Youth Commission's also having their event on the 16th.
It's, who's having something?
The Youth Commission is having their event down in the School Park Preserve that day. So that's
What
why I'm-
time is theirs? Because
I
I
think
think it's
4 to
all
6.
day long.
Okay, this is 4 to 6. So I just wanted to make sure that we
Yeah.
know what's going on if it's happening.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll get the exact time.
that'd be
Um,
great. Thanks.
And then sustainability had a presentation on e-bikes. A gentleman that does them all over the country gave a wonderful it's Redwood Bike Share. And anyway, it was very good presentation. I'm not sure if he has the money, finances, he didn't get into any of that. But he liked our town. He thought it'd be good because we have so many events. There's opportunities for maybe just having a few months at a time. So anyway, then there was also a look forward, very soon, the irrigation in the front lawn is going to get started. City is fronting the money, and then sustainability is getting all the grants and pay the city back. So that's moving forward, live and well.
Right. How will the Friday night music, is there somewhere we can look?
Oh, yeah, they'll be right in Central Square.
Okay.
Is that what you?
Like a lineup, like who's gonna, like, is it gonna be?
Oh,
rock?
yes,
Like-
the schedule will be on, it's going to be pushed out this next week. So we'll push it out. I'll send it around. It'll be on, hopefully, on the website too.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yes, I had SACOG and Pioneer last week. With SACOG, we actually traveled to West Sacramento. We did a little field trip. And boy, do they have some interesting projects. They've got a lot more money than we do, but amazing. When the highway, I'm talking Highway 40, when that came in, it bifurcated West Sacramento. West Sacramento wasn't really a city back then. I don't remember how old they are, but at one time, they had 1,001 hotel rooms in West Sacramento.
1,000?
Because 1,001 hotel rooms, because people were coming from the Bay Area up to the Sierras and they would just naturally stay in West Sacramento. Well, when the Highway 40 came in and then all the freeway and stuff, it just really kind of bypassed West Sacramento. And so now they've had to do, they just have all these hotels and motels. And so they've done a lot of Project Home Key projects for homeless and transitional housing and interesting. They've just recently undertaken, I think it's a $63 million upgrade to one of their large parks. They're going to, just right now it's just grass and they're going to put in pickleball and all kinds of aqua park. And so a really big project on that end. So it was very fascinating. I always appreciate those opportunities to tour in other jurisdictions and see what they're doing. With Pioneer, we had a great report on prepay bonds, which helps us to prepay for our electricity purchases and how much money we can save. So that was very informational. I also wanted just to bring up, and this isn't really a meeting, but I wanted just to, we're all here and we can talk about it very quickly. But one of the things I wanted to do was, we talked about this at strategic planning a little bit, was coffee with a council member. And I've already spoken with Sean and with Amy, and I thought it would be beneficial for those that want to participate on a monthly basis. We could have coffee available, or actually go to an establishment that has coffee and, and be there for maybe 2 hours, and folks can come and talk to any one of us. Amy is going to organize them as far as secure the location, work with the council member that's volunteering that work for the time, and then getting the notice out. And the idea would be for one council member wouldn't do it more than, one consecutive time unless nobody else wanted to do it, then they could do it 2 times. But the council member that volunteers for that month would work with Amy to pick out which day would be the best and the time that would be the best. And we kind of thought it would just be great to spread the love around to different establishments in Auburn, and then just have that opportunity to have coffee with a council member. So hopefully everyone will be willing to participate. We'll get that up and running, Amy. And like I said, thank you to Amy for organizing it so that we wouldn't have to do that part. We just have to show up and be there and be available to the public, and they could just come and chat with us about whatever's on their mind. So, and then it's not just one particular person, that we all can kind of take turns. So anyway, just wanted to float that by everyone and hope we can all partake in that. And that concludes my report.
Sounds great. Sign me up. Or if there's a pints with the mayor.
I don't know if we'll do alcohol, but I think we have to.
But I would like to do one in the evening at least to have options.
And that's,
Yeah.
And that was what, really we're just looking at, because it probably still would be coffee or tea, but
I understand.
different times of the
Yeah.
day and different establishments, and just, giving that option. So
Yeah.
everyone has
Good.
different availabilities and
Yeah,
I love it. Thank you.
in the gym, work out with the mayor.
Councilmember Rodell Harris, do you have any?
Nothing for me. I think it's a great idea. I've actually talked to Sean about something similar, but hadn't figured out a logistics on how to make it work. So it's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Councilmember Holmes, any committee updates?
Like to mention again that we take a serious look at becoming a certified local government. I think it would help our regional reputation, and other things.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Rodell Harris? Do you have any committee updates? No, okay.
Nope, nothing for me.
Excellent. My committee update is for Economic Development Committee. We have our next town hall. The last one was very fun. So if you want to come to another one, May 12th. And I don't know if we've settled on it's gonna be like a round table vibe, and there'll be round tables. So May 12th, I'll report more on the vision for that next month. And very excited to say I'm going on my own to go visit Bentonville, Arkansas tomorrow for the next week. It's the mountain biking capital of the world. So gonna go check that out and meet with some folks and ride my bike a bunch and see what that looks like. Yeah. So I'll report back on that as well. All right.
Madam Mayor, just quickly,
Yes.
The list for downtown music is actually on Explore Auburn.
Fantastic. Thank you. It's already online, exploreauburnca.com. .com. Explore Auburn CA. All right. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?